From Pahrump, Nevada, the Valley of the Dirt People, it's Tech Talk, Taco Tuesday, with your hosts, Jimmy Lewis and Logan Tyler.
Live from Pahrump, the Valley of the Dirt People. My name is Jimmy Lewis. This is Tech Talk Taco Tuesday.
There we go.
I was busy doing the Instagram thing.
Yeah. Excellent mic presence.
So if you hate this show, like you should, if you don't like this show, it's actually worse over on Instagram. Promise you.
Right, because there's no microphone going directly to that.
And you just have to look just straight at me. You don't get to see the whole shit set like normal. Yeah. There's no extra cameras.
You don't get to see everyone's favorite producer /
right.
co-host / beginner writing coach.
I don't know. How many followers do you have?
Oh, I only have like 239. Would like to get more.
Do they give you lots of thumbs ups like this? They go
a fair amount.
They go like this.
You know, I made a little announcement video for my Learn to Ride class dates and my new online product.
Okay.
I made a little announcement video for that, and I got some decent views, decent likes.
Okay. So this show wouldn't be possible without Jimmy Lewis Off-Road.
Yeah.
That's the we'll call it the sugar daddy of this whole operation.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. I'm not calling you the sugar daddy. I'm calling Jimmy Lewis Off-Road the corporate entity, you know.
Which it is, that kind of allows all this stuff to operate. So Jimmy Lewis Off-Road has online new rider or beginner rider training that's taught by Matt here. Actually, he will do those in person. I can't belittle myself down to that level, although I am the person in the video, so I guess it's my fault if something's wrong with them. So you can go to jimmylewisoffroad.com, click on the online training button, and teach someone else how to ride without not becoming less of a friend to them.
Or you can pay a little bit more, and you can have me teach them for you with Zoom calls.
Ooh, yeah.
This is an option available for purchase right now.
Right. So lots of stuff. Yama King here. Oh wait. Andrews is replying to Yama King. So we do pre-questions on the Instagrams, if you're wondering, and but Andrews complaining because he doesn't have any Hoosbergs like I do.
Oh yeah.
He's
and we all know Hoosberg's really good in drag races.
One of the questions I wrote down on my sheet is I want people to call in on the Seat Concepts Hot Seat Hotline. I'm going to give you the number right now, so get ready. I know nobody has a pen or a paper; they can't write this stuff down, so we're going to type it in the chat. I'm actually going to comment into the Twitter book, Insta.
I just put it into our chat.
I'm going to put it in here. The number is 775. 318. I got to make sure I type it right, and I can't reach the 318 775 318 5515
5515
5. So I just posted it in the chat. I want you to, if you have a bike that you think was the best bike ever, I want you to call in and prove it to me. That's kind of dangerous. I mean, for me.
Oh yeah.
To ask for that, because
you're just going to talk. It's just going to be an excuse for you to talk about your Hoosberg.
No, I probably wouldn't. I don't know if that's the best bike I've ever ridden. I was sitting there thinking. The reason I asked the question is because I was thinking about it, and so if you think you have potentially the best bike, and there's the one guy in the world that's pretty convinced that a KTM 690 is the best bike in the world. He was going to call in and convince me of this. He said it would take 10 minutes on the phone and I would convert.
Okay.
And I haven't had his call. Although I did ride the Husky 701, the new one with that big, giant, massive tank on it. This weekend at the KTM Adventure Rider Rally, I rode a Husky.
Yeah.
Well, just for a couple minutes. But that actually helped that bike out.
Yeah, you know, Dennis was, he loves that bike so much. When he was in Iceland doing a tour on that.
He rode one of those.
He fell in love with it.
It's funny because now they put the gas tank back where it's supposed to be. And all of a sudden it seems like it goes, hey, this is kind of like, it's kind of nice now. So
Jimmy Lewis seal of approval?
No, I'm not going there yet. Like I said, I just rode around to check it. So if you think that you have a bike that you want to talk about, Trevor Hunter, scared to call in, by the way. YZ125, best bike ever. And then Bartman says KTM 520. I'm going to disagree with both of those, although I'm a little more partial to that YZ125.
You know, honestly, can you name a more iconic motocross bike?
Oh yeah, there's tons more, but it is a good bike.
Well, okay, like throughout the generations. I mean, I know the Elsinore is a pretty iconic one, but
I know, and I have to say this right now since we're talking about YZ125. For motocross riders driven to dominate, the Yamaha YZ line of two-stroke bikes are built for victory. You can visit YamahaMotorsports.com today to explore what's new and improved for 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fixed that, didn't I? Pretty good.
We should be getting updated once before too long.
Okay, that's good because I almost have these memorized, so it's a great time to switch it up. Again, I'd like to thank the rest of our sponsors. Taco Moto sponsoring the Rooster Endo segment tonight. And if you don't know what Rooster Endo is, that's where you send me a picture of your bike. Actually, send it to Matt. You list them, your make and model, because I can't just guess everything. Try to make it a nice picture. Tell us what you did to it, and then we'll tell you whether your bike roosts or endos, and then you can either like us or hate us. So send those in. You're vying for a $100 gift certificate from tacomoto.co. Of course, Scott Sports, makers of some of the best goggles out there. If you don't believe me, ask Andrew Short, who is actually currently in and answering questions on our Instagram feed that I didn't even know we do. I did it on my own channel today.
Yeah.
It's getting a little more traction than that crappy Dirt Bike Test Instagram. If you don't follow Dirt Bike Test on Instagram, you probably shouldn't, but don't look at it because we put up cool stuff there. Climb, big sponsor of the show. My favorite gear. They make awesome gear. It rained on us a little bit up in Idaho for the KTM Adventure Rider Rally. I couldn't even tell. In fact, everybody's like, "Why are you standing out in the rain?" I'm like, "Is it raining?" Because I had really awesome climb gear on. It's that good. Not kidding. Didn't get wet, didn't sweat, nothing. DDC, awesome chain wheels. Trail Tech, they are the makers of the Voyager Pro, the best GPS out there for motorcycle-minded riders that are lost. Fasst Company, makers of Flex handlebars. Jimmy runs Flex handlebars all the time. Of course, Seat Concepts. I went and did a Seat Concepts factory tour.
Yeah, how was that? It looked pretty cool.
It's pretty cool, and it's funny because, Lyndon, who's called into the show before and talked to us, you don't realize what a real hands-on guy that he is and how successful that's been. And he was showing us how he used to make the molds with fiberglass, and now they're 3D printing them, and some of the ways that they're injecting the foam, and because the foam is really the secret to what they have there, and the way they're blending and injecting the foams and doing some pretty cool things. And then he showed us like what's next for this. And especially in the manufacturing processing, super, super cool to kind of get an inside look and to see, like, you think, okay, it's just a seat. Oh, no, it's crazy. It's crazy technical, and that's why they're able to make them as good as they are. And with 3D printing and all, they're adopting all these new technologies and bringing this kind of stuff in. Oh, Bartman changed to the KX500. He's switching. That's how quick he switches here on the Instagrams. It's either that one instant you have one favorite, and the next instant you have another favorite.
It's instant regret.
Instant regret. That's what happens every time I post on Instagram or make a video like this. And, of course, Bulletproof Designs. If you're looking for some cool protection, especially for your new 23 KTM Husqvarna gas, they have all those parts in stock ready to ship. Radiator guards, chain guide things. They even make the miraculous front disc rotor protector. It's a big, giant aluminum thing that protects your front disc if you like to grenade your bike into rocks. So that's the one thing I don't use. Bart had all of the three bikes. KTM 380 last two-stroke to win the MXGPs. Man, you know what, Craig Hill? I built, I don't know if it was a 380 or 360. I thought that was going to be the ultimate off-road trail bike weapon, do everything, and I built it, and I got it just to where everything on that bike was good. And this is back when KTM had bad suspension. I was able to do some stuff too. Did a lot of tuning in the motor, some porting, deck height, got the compression ratio right, got the carburation just right. This thing was going to be perfect. And on my first trail ride on my now perfect motorcycle, which took like 6 to 8 months to test and get there, the ignition went out.
Oh, shit.
And I just bought it. It was a test bike. I had just bought it. This is one of these bikes. I just sold it like the next week because it had all the parts on it. I'm done with this. They put an ignition in it and sold it. So Craig, that's not right. Hey, Andy Taylor just popped into the Instagrams. Andy Taylor is responsible for a lot of the design and development of the shell of Dirt Bike Test. Like when you look at how that thing looks and the stuff. So yeah, good to see Andy. Anyways, lots of stuff going on there. I don't know how long I can handle Instagram though. It's distracting from this.
Well, that's why
other
you have me here,
shows.
because I was going to start reading off some of the questions
okay.
that we're getting in our Mainstream chat. There we go.
Right.
Main space stream, not mainstream.
And you caught 2 already.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're both from me.
3. Yeah, good. Okay,
Because they're filler words. It's not just it's filler words.
it's mostly just the the long drawn out So cheers. Oh, I got to hold this cup up the right way. Cheers. I'm drinking Shizerp tonight, by the way. I'm bringing it back.
So I was gonna ask you, what the hell is that?
It's my Jimmy juice that has my stuff, like my little packet that has my name on it that I pour into there.
Okay.
It's like some special mixed up stuff, and I juice it up even more. And now it's the same stuff that you thought those rap guys were just getting super loaded. Mm-hmm. Now they're probably drinking special vitamins and stuff. So that's what I think.
Is it good for you? Bad for you?
Ooh, if it has your name on the package, it's got to be good for it. Good for you, right?
Got it. Well, I'm going to go ahead and read Dave Donnelly's question that he put in our chat from Facebook.
Okay.
I've always been wondering why the KTM 530 was bad. Can they be fixed? Asking because I'm looking to upgrade to a big bore KTM without breaking the bank.
They're bad because it was an interesting time at KTM where they actually kind of started. I don't know what happened there. It's all depends on the engineers that were there and how crazy their racers were that wanted something different. And KTM had that RFS 4-stroke for so long, they just needed to do something different, I think. And so Honda was having a lot of success with the CR450X, which has a split oiling system. So there's oil in the transmission, like a 2-stroke, gear oil in the transmission, and there's motor oil inside of the crankcase, like a car engine, for instance. So they separated those 2 chambers. And KTM decided to do this. And I don't think that they had done this in any kind of a racing application and stuff. They kind of fell off what their ordinary program was. They always built race bikes and then kind of developed them. And so I think they were looking at maybe something that could be maybe higher power and do, I don't know what was going on there. But anyways, that was the root cause of the problem, in my opinion. They tried to do something. The motor got bigger, got heavier. The performance wasn't exactly there. And the funny thing is if you take a Hoosberg, it was built in the exact same time frame. It's mostly exact same parts, but it's a unified engine. It's like a regular 4-stroke motor, and it's kind of the same motor, orientated completely different, and fuel injected. Where this KTM was still carbureted, and it just suffered. It got weird with the handling. It kind of gained. I guess you would say at the time it kind of gained stability. Mm-hmm. Because the RFSs were kind of thought to be a little bit twitchy, and so I would stay away from that bike. Personally, they seem to last like 200 hours, and then you might as well just replace everything. And by everything, I mean piston, crank, cylinder. The only thing that lasts forever, and really the only thing they carried on to the current type bike, onto the newer 500 that came around in 2011, I believe, was the cylinder head. The cylinder head was good. It didn't wear out. It lasted a long time. So like on the RFS, the only thing that went bad was the intake valves wore out. And so they fixed that. They fixed the cylinder head, but they wrecked everything underneath it. So the 400 version of that, if you can find a 400, not so much the 450. The 450 and the 530, they almost made too much power for just the way it was. But the 400 seemed to be pretty good of those. So it predated the 350. It's kind of like a 350, except it's just heavier, but it made a little bit better torque. So that's what I would say about that thing.
Okay.
So Craig Hill says, mine has the Japanese Kukasan ignition. I'm not sure exactly what he's talking about here. He's talking about the KTM 380. Guess what, Craig? That's the ignition I put in mine. Even if it was a 360, I put a different ignition in it. That was one of the keys to get it to be a lot more throttle response. The trick in the old days with the KTM 300s was to put the 250 ignition in it and stuff to get them to run a little bit hotter. And we were doing that quite a bit earlier. So, okay, what's our next question, Matt?
So this is going to be from Dan Parker on our Facebook feed.
Yep.
Do you think Yamaha will update the 2024 YZ250F and FX to reflect the 2023 450F weight loss and updates?
So I would bet that next year, just if they continue with tradition, which is what they do, Next year, you'll get an all-new YZ250. And then the 450 FX will be like the 450 motocross bike. So the FX generally follows. Sometimes, have they ever put them both out? Trevor would know this because he's more of a Yamaha guy.
Mm-hmm.
Have they ever put both of those things? Have they ever done both the YZ motocross bike and the FX in the same year? I think the FX typically follows by a year to get all of those updates. But yeah, I think that the 2024 YZ250, yeah, he's got it figured out. He's got the right, when you look at the YZ250F and all the other stuff.
I'm going to assume that's Trevor because that certainly wasn't me.
Yeah, YZ250F. Wait, see here. And I saw a question
So actually, I have a follow-up question really quick.
Sure.
You mentioned Yamaha follows tradition and everything. Their patterns and everything. Do you ever see any of the other manufacturers doing what Yamaha did with the reverse cylinder head?
Do I see that happening in the future?
Yeah,
You mean copying Cannondale?
pretty much. Or does Yamaha kind of have like a lockdown on that?
I don't know if that, I'm sure they have patents on the way it's organized, but you can do some different stuff. It depends on how broad their patent is and how much.
Right.
Manufacturers really hate to just blatantly copy like right away. They wait a little while, or they try to sneak it in a new way. So I don't know. It requires a complete redesign of the whole everything on the motorcycle, because you can't just spin the cylinder head around and then expect everything to work, because your gas tank has to go someplace else, your air filter has to go someplace else. Because of this, the bike starts handling a little bit different. So I don't see that happening too quick.
Well, and not to beat a dead horse, but you did also say another thing, they like to sneak something from manufacturers they don't want to blatantly copy.
Yep.
So did Yamaha wait a few years after the Cannondale was gone and forgotten to do the reverse engine?
When I asked them that question, when it very first came out in 2010, when I asked that question to the engineers that design it, they literally said, "What is a Cannondale?" And here's the good thing. Here's the interesting thing about how they said that. They had practiced it.
Oh, okay.
They had practiced saying,
"What's a Cannondale?"
That, yeah. There was like, the English is very good in this one.
Okay.
It's not Cannondale. We don't know. Which would be, maybe that'd be something over in Europe. They would say it that way. But
right.
But
did they kind of smile when they said it too? Kinda like everyone in the room knows. But
no, I never asked those questions in public in front of them, because I don't want to, I don't want to embarrass these guys, nor do I want to give away. Like 80% of the journalists in there probably didn't know what a Cannondale was at that time, and had never ridden one.
Right.
So, that's just age and experience on my part. But a lot of times, I kind of ask these guys, and sometimes they'll, you can laugh and go, okay, and then they know that they know, and then like you're like, okay, whatever. But no, they completely said that no, there was never any. They didn't copy anything. It was their own original idea. They knew that it was going to make more power, and they said all the right things. And I mean, it could be true, because it's a lot of times you see comedians and they get accused of copying another guy's stick or routine or something.
Yeah.
And it's all been done before. And just over time, pretty soon a monkey will write Shakespeare. It'll just happen. But so you copy, without knowing it. You might have heard something that gave you an idea, and then like 6 years later you go to, you think it's an original idea. So I can't say for sure. Maybe that was the truth, and they just wanted them to say it properly.
Okay.
I don't know, but I doubt it. These guys, in the especially the engineers and stuff like that, the ones that I have met that are true, that are, it's not like I graduated college from engineering and I ended up working on motorcycles. And this is all over the world. Any place I've met or worked with engineers, they had a passion for motorcycles, and then they went to engineering school, and then their passion had them look for jobs in that industry. Now, whether they can ride well or whatever, doesn't matter. But I've also found the less that they ride, the more they're checking out everything. They're into the engineering. They want to learn and they spend a lot of time looking at what everybody else is doing research on old. I mean, a lot of this stuff, you say, oh, aluminum frames. Well, shit, Greaves was doing it back in the 60s or 70s, and there's I think I got that right because it's old. It's before my time.
Yeah.
Twin cylinders. It's been done. Yankee. There's a motorcycle company called Yankee that made twin cylinder 2-strokes back in the days. Dirt bikes.
Right.
So a lot of this stuff, nothing's new. So.
Got it.
Yeah. Let's see if we got any more questions on the. Yeah. So Kurt Brooks says, yeah, at Z Racing, which was the KTM shop that Mark Zoller used to run. They used to help me out a little bit when I was doing the KTMs. They said they put those Kukas on. And Craig Hill wants to know, how many hours do your Hoosberg 570s go before the motor needs to be rebuilt? I pulled one apart at about 450 hours for a dirt rider magazine. We did a rebuild on one, and I wish I never took it apart. And it probably has another 500 hours after it was completely rebuilt. My current bikes, I'm pretty sure, in the one I don't know exactly, but the blue one, Bob's old one, you never tore it apart. You never tore the Hoosberg apart, right? That thing probably has 700. I use it in every class that we do. So it gets, 4 hours of class on it. And how many classes have I done? So
Quite a few.
yeah.
Oh, back when. Oh.
So these things they're going on 700 hours on the Hoosbergs, and I don't have any problems. And they're not modified at all. Wait, yours has it? Does yours have the cam chain tensioner in it? Yeah. Yours has the manual one. I've never touched it, by the way. That's why I don't know. But on the one that I just got, the newer one that I got, it had a normal one on there, and it was making that cam noise, like I told you. And I had an extra one. I put a manual in there, and the cam noise didn't go away. And they go, oh, and it was the cam was shot. But
was it a stock cam or aftermarket?
No, it was aftermarket cam. It was a rewelded cam, and it wore the hard facing off the small end of the cam. In that little bearing inside of the head. Yeah. So he had the stock cam, so I just popped it right back in there and adjusted the valves, and call it good. Makes a lot of power. Detonates because it has high compression piston in it that I want to take out. Actually, I want to put the stock ECU back in. I bought this super modified 570.
Was it the Husqvarna?
Yeah, it's the one that looks like a Husky because Bobby, the guy who sold it to me, owns a Husky shop, and the only reason he sold it is because he has way too many other bikes, and it's not a Husky or a KTM or a BMW.
That's the one that has this equivalent price of the bike and the Olin suspension.
Right, it has the Olin suspension on it. I got a good deal on it, but actually he's really lucky he sold it to me because I was smart enough to go, hey, this thing's ticking, and I know that it wasn't a normal noise. Actually, it was a post on the EXC-FE Performance group over there on Facebook. So this is one of the groups that we participate in a little bit. And there was a guy that he basically dropped a valve in a Hoosberg 570, and he showed the picture of the shim, and one side was all ground out and the other side was nice and pretty. And then he said, I don't know how this happened. And I know how it happened. The valve snapped off. Valve snapped someplace or another. And so then when he finally looked in there, because the rocker arm was sitting where the shim used to be, and then he looked in there, and there's no valve inside of underneath the spring. And so he's like, I wonder if I'll be able to just fix this really easy. He's like, nope. I go, you can get parts. By the way, if you're looking for motorcycle parts, you need to buy something, and you want to help us out here so we can, finish out the other half of this office that I showed you on the Instagram. No, so we can run air conditioning more than one day a week.
Well, we don't really need that very much.
Only for 3 months out of the year.
Yeah.
If you want to help us out, go to the link, click through our link at Dirt Bike Test for the Rocky Mountain MC ATV. We get a little slice of that. Click through that. It's on one of the sliders going through. There's a pull down menu you can get to it at.
Click where it says support DBT.
Yeah,
and it'll give you our Amazon and Rocky Mountain links.
Yeah, and there's also Amazon. So if you're just going to buy a couple paper clips or something on Amazon, but when you're going to buy that big screen TV or the massage chairs are nice, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Get a massage chair and a split air conditioning unit, a big screen TV, maybe. What else did you buy? Can you buy if you're buying your Surron on Amazon? Click through our link because we'll get a little chunk of that, and I think I've actually got it kind of fixed there. So I think I'm wrecking the resale value for myself on Hoosbergs by talking about them so much. Yes, Bob. Bob is our in-studio lapdog, and he just raised his hand. He asks motorcycle questions.
What did the aftermarket cam do for the 570?
It made the rear wheel spin more. Yeah, it made the rear wheel spin more. It made it rev up quicker when it didn't need to rev quicker, and but I don't really know what it exactly did because it wasn't actually getting the lift that it was claiming to get because the journal on the inside was actually oval. So 2 of my valves were not opening up like they should have. So yeah. So he just found a Hoosberg in Colorado. Billy Trapp did. He said he found it behind a Walmart, so you know it's good. Well, you mean someone stole it or a Walmart employee rode it to work? Because, like, a Hoosberg, if you have to work on it, will drive you to take odds and end jobs just to keep it running, by the way. So, okay. Hey, it was nice to see all you guys on the Instagrams. If you, like I said, if you want to follow this when I clip this, you can go to our Dirt Bike Test YouTube page or our Dirt Bike Test Facebook page. We are live right now. We go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we answer all of your questions. I'm going to keep this going for a few more minutes. Look at Timothy Sullivan. Timothy Sullivan is one of those rare men that can break BMWs in half.
Really?
Break BMW, not once, but I think multiple times.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question, what does Joe want to know?
So Joe Dougie on our Facebook feed, front tires, Golden Tire G2 GT 216AA or Shinko 216 MX Cheater. I've experience with the Shinko. I like the tire, but it broke down fast and had signs of dry rot. Wonder if the Golden is a better choice.
Go ahead and zoom the camera in on me real quick.
Yep.
Give me that camera. What was his name again?
Kenda.
No, what was his name?
Joe.
Joe. I'm a little biased when it comes to tires, and I don't like to talk about tire companies that support my off-road riding school that much. But I would just go with a Kenda Parker DT all the time, which is pretty much what I do on my own personal bikes. But aside from that, aside from getting the best thing you can possibly ever get, and I'm not kidding, I would say my experience, because I have ridden all of those bikes, that the Shinko tires are of a slightly lesser quality than the Golden tires when it comes to wear and durability and shelf life kind of issues. And when they that kind of dry rot sign, and when you're getting these gummy tires these days, they have shelf lives, kind of like a Moose has a shelf life and other things. So, and the more expensive materials tend to last longer. Now, I might be mistaken, or I might be right. Those 2 tires could be made in the same factory, and it's just kind of what they put into them, how long it takes to get them shipped, how long it was sitting on the dealer's floor. And I'm not a big fan of those, quote, cheater type tires on the front, because I've never really noticed that. I'm not like doing. I mean, I guess I've ridden some extreme enduros and shit before, evidently.
Just a time or two?
Yeah, so I've never noticed where I need that kind of level of grippy grip in an event kind of thing, where that grip on the extreme enduro stuff is worth the time I'm going to lose because that tire doesn't work properly every place else. And by extreme enduro, I mean like where you're really kind of having that knob has to grip onto the side of things and claw into stuff. So I tend to run a more, I would say, normal tire. And sometimes when they call them cheater, they just put a softer rubber compound in. In fact, I'm testing one of these kind of tires right now. And by testing, I mean it's mounted up on a wheel. It's ready to go. I just haven't had time to do it. I've been busy. But I'm getting some new versions of the rear tires, so they need to match out. But anyways, I would just from my experience, I would say typically the Golden could be a slightly better choice. But the good thing about tires is, man, they wear out and you can change them quick. So give it a try. And if you put it on and it doesn't work that good, take it off really quick and sell it to your buddies for half the price, and then get another one. Try something different. And then when they ask you why you took it off, you say that I'm really picky about tires, and I want to be cool and run the same tire as Jimmy Lewis, so I'm not running this on my bike anymore. That's what I would say.
There we go.
Okay.
Good answer.
Yeah. 9 out of 10 questions without referring to Timothy Sullivan says, come on.
We're not bought out at all.
No, he's talking about when I said that he broke BMWs in half.
Yeah.
I know of one. I think one is a good one, maybe two. Well, Tim's a longtime dirt bike rider and a Baja guy and stuff, racer. And him and a bunch of my friends, and they're slightly older than me, a little bit older, they all got into adventure bikes, like way after I had. And they wanted to do the same kind of riding, these long distance rides on their adventure bikes that they'd done on their dirt bikes. And then all of a sudden you realize on something that's 400 pounds, 500 pounds, and it's loaded and the brakes don't work as good. And when they hit ditches, the suspension, it's not meant to do that. And then the frames aren't meant to do that. And so, yeah.
Have they come to the school?
Tim has not come to the school.
Okay.
Yeah, but he could anytime. It's like for a guy like that, it's almost free.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they got if you're riding a BMW at any point in your life, you have more than enough money in your back pocket to come and support us in the lifestyle we become accustomed to, and we can hopefully make you a better rider.
Yep. All right, let's go to Ryan Ward. Have you had any experience with a 6.6 gallon on the RFS KTM 450 EXC?
What year, Ryan? Help me out here. RFS. So that's old. Mm-hmm. The 6.6 gallon, is that the Achirby's one? That because there's Achirby's makes a big giant one and Safari makes a big giant one. And again, I have both of those tanks on there. Every single one of my Safari tanks is on the shelf right now. It's not on a bike. And we use them for rentals and we have stuff.
Mm-hmm. He said 2006.
Yeah.
And Achirby's.
It's okay. So that's actually a pretty good tank. It has straps on the bottom to kind of hold it together, and they're done. They're not big, gnarly straps that kind of are super rigid, which I find on the Safari stuff. And so it allows the tank to move a little bit stuff, but it's a big tank. It's about as good as you're going to do for such a big tank. Let's put it that way. They make some that are in the 4.5 gallon range that are much more comfortable at that. They all of a sudden they start bulging it really big, where kind of like when you scoot forward on the tank, because that's the only place you're going to get the extra gas. I mean, the radiator shrouds are already massive, and it fills in that spot as opposed to be narrow and then kind of get thicker on the way out. So that's my opinion. I have one. It has two petcocks, and you have a Y junction in the middle and all of that stuff. So if you're just looking if you're really trying to make a long distance bike, in fact, I had a 400 with one of those and 1.5 gallons on the side panel.
Oh shit!
So that was the bike Jim used to ride around. Jim loved it, and we took the stuff off, and he wanted it back because he got so comfortable with that, because he was able to hang on to. I don't know. He just felt comfortable with all that extra bike. So
interesting.
Chris Reel.
All right. One of my favorite bikes ever was my 1991 KTM 300 TXC. Mint green seat, perfect off-road power band, double wall pipe, and very adjustable for mixed types of off-road riding.
And the power valve only broke off every third ride. And I'm not lying. Actually, maybe with the double walled pipe, the power valve, it never opened up, so it didn't break off.
So 91, were you on KTM's racing? At
Yeah.
this point? Okay.
Yeah. That was when I was a full-fledged factory. I did their brochures.
Oh shit.
I did the brochures on those bikes. We literally went someplace and they said, "Okay, here's the bikes." And I said, "Whoa, what the hell?" I was used to, like, my KTM's were like kind of red, white, and blue. Believe it or not, they were white bikes with red and blue graphics and a red seat. And all of a sudden, it was mint green. Like, whoa. Yes, Bob.
So the KTM broken power valves.
KTM broken power valves, yes.
So Danny Hamill had trouble with that,
I was well aware of that.
and he gave me one.
Uh-huh.
Fixed it.
How'd you fix it?
It has so many stress risers.
Right.
In the
You
corner.
just round everything off. Yeah.
Them all
Polished it.
off,
Yeah.
Didn't have any more trouble.
That's the truth. Hit the counter there.
Oh yeah.
I got it.
It's going up.
I had to
Don't
think.
worry.
I had to think about that because I rode a KTM 125 at the time. It had like literally no problems all year long, and he used the entire United States supply of cylinder and power valves in the matter of about 3 weeks of desert racing. It had a little bit to do with some other stuff, which actually, since Chris Reel is on the chat, I'm gonna kind of I'll just leave it a little bit vague. Mm-hmm. We had some other issues, and from the guy at the top said, I don't care how long it takes to get to the bottom of this. We're gonna get to the bottom of this, and we got to the bottom of it all right. Dave Chase was so good at changing cylinders on KTM 250 and 300s. Like, he could do it in about 7 minutes. It was ridiculous because Danny would go out and practice the bomb run, and Roger tow him back. he'd be on another bike. He'd have another bike. Dave had to prep 2 bikes every time for Danny, and he'd have another bike, and he'd go out there. Danny would go out, Roger tow him back, and David had the other cylinder right back on the damn thing.
Holy
and
shit.
It was yeah. And I mean, it took 30 minutes for the cycle, but yeah, he was getting good at it.
So what was the fix for it?
Oh, it's real simple, but Chris is on the line, so we can't. If Chris wants to let us know what the
fix was?
we were using a product that was good for 96% of the riders in the world. It just didn't work for some of the guys that were that were
factory
at
racers.
10/10, the guys that were running that thing at 10/10, and that wasn't. But in reality, that wasn't the. I think, like Bob said, they kind of fixed, or they got a lot closer with the power valve. It still broke a couple times. I don't think after it got polished, I don't think it completely eliminated it, because all of a sudden we were getting, when they started making new cylinders and new power valves, they were different. They had the bigger journal on them and stuff like that. There was a big change from 91, I believe, to 91 to 92, or was it 92 to 93? I don't remember.
And it had more radiuses in the
Yeah,
motor,
yeah,
all that stuff.
all the stuff that you did. You should have just, you should have quit your job and started working for KTM. And then guess what? We'd still be talking about how crappy the KTMs were if you had been hired there. So, hold on a second. Kurt Brooks says, I took the class years ago. The best accessory I could buy for my KTM 990. It was an epic weekend. Hey, thanks, Kurt. I really appreciate that. I honestly do. Like it says on the back of the shirt, the best modification for your motorcycle is a better rider. And that's why, if you are driven to dominate, you should ride a Yamaha. I wish I had the 2-stroke read in front of me, but I'm going to go ahead and do.
You already did the 2-stroke read.
No, I kind of made it. For the look of a full factory ride, both the YZ450F and YZ250F come in an exclusive Monster Energy Yamaha Racing Edition graphics package. And you can take the precision tunability to the next level with the Yamaha exclusive and industry's only free power valve. Why am I talking
Power
about
tuner?
Yeah, how about the power tuner? One of these days, someone's going to have a power valve tuner app. But Yamaha has the power tuner app. And if you have no idea how good it is, just ask me and I will tell you. That is my number one favorite thing about the YZs, above and beyond just how generally good they are. And I can't believe it's taken all the journalists this long to come around, because I was on board with that in 2010. Back when I accused him of copying Cannondale. So, okay. What's next? Mark Daniels.
Mark Daniels?
Yeah, he ate, but he's late. I thought he said he ate, but he's on board. Mr. Happy is glad you're here, by the way. Right there. Good timing, Mark. If you have any questions, let us know. Oh, Chris is going to answer something here.
Yeah. Lots of development in the 1990s. Yes, we stuck pistons. Some motorcycles were busting in half. Everything got better.
This is true. It's the only reason everything got better is because of the internet. Because all you need is an iPhone and the internet, and you can have a show just like this. And with that, everybody on the Instagrams, I'm going to clip you right now. Thanks for joining. Thanks for asking the questions. I don't see anything. Texas Jesus just showed up. My co-dog from King of the Hammers. What an awesome guy. Actually, I heard he posted the best video of him doing a faceplant the other day. And I don't like watching crash videos, so I didn't see it. But my buddy George told me Texas Jesus did a faceplant. So search Texas Jesus on the Instagrams if you want to see what four-wheel driving people do.
Yep.
And he sure as hell doesn't pull out max tracks like I do. But he knows how to use a winch line.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
That's all you need.
And he can take a donkey like me, a two-wheel dirt motorcycle donkey, and teach him in the process of a race how to finish King of the Hammers.
Oh, nice.
Which is a skill in itself. So that's pretty cool, and I'm glad he said I was pretty because I think he's a little bit gay. But that's for another show. So awesome, guys. We will see you on the next thing, and we'll catch you a little bit later on the YouTubes. By the way, I'm on the Jimmy_Lewis_ Instagram page.
Your personal one.
That's my personal one.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Sherco has a built-in power valve tuner. Built-in. Okay, Craig's just dropping knowledge on me that I don't know. It has a electronic power valve, and that's game changing. I know this. So with that, I'm going to clip you, Craig. We'll see you over on the other side. Okay, and now there we go. So I want to share this video, and with this, I don't want to learn more about this. Do you have any other questions?
Well, I actually do have one just because my Moto history is, I don't know so much about the history.
Hey, this is Tech Talk Taco Tuesday number what?
157.
Number 157. We've done this show 157 times.
Yes.
Do we have a technical difficulty at the beginning?
No.
I didn't see anybody complain about they couldn't hear the volume.
Yeah, volume's good.
It sounded like the call center is working.
It's working.
By the way, give us a call if you want to chat with us. 775-318-5515. That is the Seat Concepts
Hot seat hotline.
Hot Seat Hotline. That's where I think the name is a little too intimidating. We should call it the Seat Concepts. My butt is so much more comfortable when I call you hotline.
There we go.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, because you shouldn't be scared. I'm nice some of the times, but if you want to convince me what the best bike in the world is, that's what we're doing tonight.
Well, I did see someone put something for their
Best bike?
for their best bike. Yeah. So from Dave Donnelly, I have to say the 1982 YZ465 was the best motocross bike ever because it was the only bike I got a first place trophy on. When I turned 40 and raced the Evo 2 class at the Vintage Iron Nationals at Glen Helen 25 years ago, novice class. That's a pretty good reason to put it as your number one bike.
Everybody has a reason, and I couldn't even argue with him. But
Yeah,
the 19, which year was that? YZ465, 82. So I'm thinking about, I remember 81. I remember that one because I wanted a 81 YZ80 so bad. And then I do remember Vintage Iron Nationals 25 years ago because I was doing the math. I'm like 25 to 82. It's longer than that. It's like 45 years ago. They were racing those at Indian Dunes, and there was a lot of fast guys racing those at the time. So,
okay, so hold on. This brings up a question that I have though. So I actually now have two questions, but this one's going to take precedence over the other one. You keep asking for everyone's best bike, and I don't think we've gotten a clear answer from you on what's the best bike and to me that's such a hard question to answer, and it's an impossible question to answer because it depends on your situation. Like, are we talking about best overall for all situations or best overall at its designed purpose?
yeah, you're exactly right. And so because I was thinking about this when I was asking this question, I'm like, what is the reason I brought it up because I don't know if I actually know the answer. Although, in some discussions I have over the last couple of weeks, I kind of think I know which bike it was, and it just has to do with time, place, use, all this stuff. Just something that just really excelled at it being what it was, and some of it is just like our friend there that just talked about the YZ465 and why and how.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm almost going to go with the time that I rode Jean-Michel Bale's CR500, and I wish I want to say it was like 86.
I'll tell you what
I
it was.
think. Is the magazine over there?
Yep.
With me on the cover on it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, those are still there.
Yeah.
Was that you on the cover hanging off the bike?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Best selling. I talked to Ron Lawson about that. Best selling cover of dirt bike in history. Period. That was the best newsstand they ever had. And they tried to redo it once, but the photo model wasn't as good. That's what Ron said. And that it's really strange that he actually gives me a compliment, but he did. So I want to say it was that bike at that time, and if it was 86, it wasn't it wasn't a full factory bike, but since I rode it after the MXGP, it kind of was a factory bike sort of thing. And I guess you'd have to read the article to remember. You know, I would have to read the article to remember exactly.
August 91 is.
No, this would the Bale 500 would have been. God, could it have been?
Well, no, maybe I might be. It's either
No. It had to have been in the.
February of 92.
Okay, yeah, it had to be 92. So we were way past the works bikes, but it was a bike he rode at the MXGP that they had over here. They had the 500cc GP at Glen Helen, and so it wasn't bound by the production rules. So I don't know exactly what they did to it or something like that. But having ridden some 500s before, not a whole lot. I was still a young kid, and getting the chance to ride that bike and just from talking to, you know, racers now, kids and younger racers and stuff now, they're just like, oh, factory bike. And they don't even know what a factory bike is. You know, when I was growing up in 1982, 83, 84, you saw the Works Hondas, and those were factory bikes. Those were getting to hang around with, like, you know, Ricky Brabeck and Andrew Short and see factory rally bikes.
Yeah.
Those are factory bikes. It's like what they ride in Supercross and motocross are not exactly, they kind of are, but not exactly factory bikes, especially from the outside, because you don't see these. They don't do crazy things. But, you know, factory suspension, factory motor, factory brakes. Look at, you know, they had all the, back then you couldn't get the stickers that were on that bike. They just, they were only for factory bikes. You couldn't just call up a, you know, graphics company and have somebody make you something.
Like this was truly factory. There was no way you could buy anything about this bike.
This bike was so factory. Like Cliff White, when I walked up to go be the photo model on this bike, he grabbed me, pulled me around the side of the box van so nobody could see us, and he says, "If you so much as crash this bike, I'm going to kill you." I think those are his words. And he basically said, he said, "You look at the grip on that handlebar, and if I have to tell you how much time it takes me to do that," he says, "I'm going to kill you." Like literally.
Wow.
And I was like, okay.
No pressure.
Well, it was no pressure because, like, you know, 2 or 3 weeks earlier, or a couple months earlier or something like that, Rich Tuchinski, who was another test rider for the magazine, had just wadded up like Donnie Hansen's bike or someone, I don't remember exactly whose bike, Jeff Stanton's bike, in a photo shoot for I don't know, I think it was for dirt bike, some ding dong test rider. And so I was really scared. I mean, I was scared, but so this bike, and so what he did with it, he actually took like 3 different Renthal grips and cut them and glued them together to make a grip that Jean-Michel Bale liked. That's how picky this guy was.
Wow.
I mean, the way that he had his levers set up and but you just start looking at it, just aside from that, just like where the zip ties were placed, everything about this bike. And it was the bike, because it was like we did this on a Monday or Tuesday after the race. So that bike really does stand out as one of those things, because 500s used to always make power, but they didn't make smooth power like this.
Right.
And you know, it was carbureted perfect. I mean, you snapped the throttle and it snapped like a 125 went. Brap, brap.
Really? Out of a 500?
Out of a 500. It just snapped. But when you rode it, it didn't snap and spin the wheel. It just hooked up and went. You never had to use the clutch on this thing.
Really?
But if you use the clutch, it was like impeccable. It was like light pull and perfect, and everything about this bike, you know, just the way the brakes worked. He was real picky about his brakes, and they were super progressive but ridiculously strong. And it's the same thing with the suspension. It was factory suspension. And he outweighed me by a little bit at the time, and I did not ride as fast, but he rode so light on the motorcycle, he didn't have this ridiculously stiff setup that, you know, a lot of racers end up gravitating to.
Right.
He would kind of sort of go around the bumps, float over them. In a lot of ways, he rides like the ways that the Hunter Lawrences and the Chase Sextons and the
Ken Roxon?
Ken Roxons of the world ride today. And if you want to emulate somebody, ride like those guys.
Right.
Like, there's nothing against the way that Eli Tomac rides, which, by the way, is the one that won.
Right.
But that's brute strength and being in shape
And not being scared to just twist that throttle.
Well, he's not scared to twist the throttle because he's very patient and he waits to get the bike lined up. That's the thing that everybody, you know, nobody understands. Just see a guy hanging on. He points it and then he goes.
Right.
And he doesn't. There's no half a second rolling the throttle on. It's from all or nothing. It's all brakes or all acceleration, and it's very. Someone that understands the riding technique can look at that and go, I know exactly what he's doing.
Right. Well, he said in interviews, I'm either 100% on the throttle or 100% on the brakes.
Yeah.
And looking at some of the berms and just watching some of those last motos at Paula, I really got to see that, especially in the flatter corners.
Yeah, he did amazing. But anyhow, so yeah, I would probably say it was Bale's bike. It was that CR500, and the cool thing was, I'm pretty sure that whatever was inside that motor was kind of made within Honda, within the factory guys at Honda and stuff, public knowledge. And then Eric Krippa, who is one of the media guys and used to be a factory mechanic in the old days, got a hold of that cylinder, a cylinder like that, and figured out the stuff. And so for after that on CR500s, we had the Barkmaster CR500. There was anything that Krippa touched that we allowed him to modify. And he was doing stuff for race team, and he would help out like journalists that wanted to tune a bike up or something. And so we had Barkmasters, and I remember the first time I raced with my buddy Dave Donatoni, we were on the Barkmaster 500 that went something like 116 miles an hour.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Holy shit.
And it was still pulling.
Oh God.
So yeah, and it was all off of that. So that probably is the one bike. And the funny thing is, so I go, okay, let's just go motocross bikes. My second favorite motocross bike was Tim Ferry's KX450. And I think at the time, I'm trying to think of who was he was factory Kawasaki. I'm trying to think if there was I don't know if James Stewart was on the team at the time or I don't remember who was there at that time. And that bike, I kind of didn't. I mean, we were just riding. At the magazine, you got to ride factory bikes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to, if you could do a story on it, they let you do it.
Right.
And I just remember Timmy's bike. That 450 motor was one of the best 450 motors I'd ever ridden, and it was it. I don't even know if it felt slow, but it made a lot of power. Oh, yeah. It was smoother on the bottom, and just the way it pulled. It was probably carbureted back then.
In 07, I think so.
Yeah, and a lot of times, this is the thing, is I'm thinking the reason it was so good, the reason it was so much better is because they actually, went and did this drivability. So it probably worked like fuel injection. And that was another one that was really good. And his suspension was it wasn't crazy stiff or anything weird.
Mm-hmm. I
know what my least favorite bikes were. Jeremy McGrath's Championship CR250.
Yeah.
That was like horrifying. And then I think I talked about another one recently that I can't remember what it was, but
was it Jason Thomas?
Oh yeah, I talked about his bike.
Yeah.
That bike was horrible, but it was set up for a small dude, and I'll bet you that bike worked awesome for him. And it's kind of funny because I think, did we talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, no. He I remember he had said, this was in a podcast. I think it's been close to a year now.
We're talking about helmet safety.
Yeah,
and then I just kind of had to poke the bear and kind of see if I get a rise out of him, right, like I always do.
Yeah.
and we talked about it. I remember riding your bike, and it was absolutely horrific, but it probably was really good for a small guy. And he goes, no, he was kind of trying to hide something that the bike did that he didn't want it to do. And and I'm like, oh, okay, that makes even more sense now because,
yeah. Well, I remember him saying it was set up for him to he would time his throttle to where it would get the hit right when he was coming out of the corner.
Uh-huh.
So I remember he mentioning something about that. Yeah,
and his bike, that bike was a combination of all the things that I don't like into one simple package.
Right.
That just made it horrible. So
yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that. And so somebody go, would the Hoosberg 570 make the list? I've had some really bad experiences on Hoosbergs. Like I tried to race one in Romaniacs.
Uh-huh.
That was a bad experience. I actually tried to ride the new at the time 390.
Okay.
And you see how many guys are, you see the new trend of racing 4-strokes at Extreme Enduros?
No,
not at all.
No. You only see an Enduro cross.
I thought I was going to be part of that.
What? So if I remember,
and the best thing is that 390 weighs at least 1 pound less than the 570, and the 570 is a turd.
So Jimmy, this would be from your era of racing these bikes. I don't remember where I saw it, but this was years ago. I saw a video about Hoosberg from, I don't even remember the year, but I saw BMW dirt bikes there. And
that was after I raced Hoosberg.
Okay.
Because that was on the G450X, the bike that ruined both Juha Salmon and David Knight's career.
Okay.
It's kind of like the Hoosberg ruined Mike Lafferty's career. Now, we were talking about this at the KTM Adventure Rider Rally.
Mm-hmm.
He would have way more national enduro championships than Dick Burleson had he not had to race a Hoosberg.
Oh God.
And it's funny because we both agree on how great that bike is for me.
For you, yeah.
Yeah. So, so yeah, BMW. Well, the only reason I got to race Hoosberg was because I probably could have pulled some sort of magazine editor stunt and gone over there because we had guys that got to go over there to do magazine intros and different things. But BMW, they had a thing to qualify for Hoosberg. You have a race up the mountain, and so it's like a Pikes Peak on dirt, and you start at the bottom, and you race to the top of the mountain, and I don't know how many kilometers it is, and whatever. So the thing is like guys that started to take rally bikes or really fast 4-strokes up there and just try to win the prologue. So it became a thing to win. They called the Iron Mountain prologue or Iron Mountain something. And so BMW, when they introduced HP2, and this was a couple years before the G450 came out, I was still under contract with them from my Dakar racing stuff. And they said, hey, do you want to come to Hoosberg and, race up the mountain? And I'm like, yeah, but I want to ride the hare scramble. I don't really, I can go up the road okay, but I really want to do extreme enduro. This is kind of where my head was at, and my mind is what I wanted to do. I mean, not be a pro at it, but just that was what I started enjoying doing.
Yeah.
So I said, can I try to ride the twin cylinder, because I've been involved in the development of it, and it was supposed to be a kind of a real capable dirt bike, which it was for what it was. Can I race it? And they're like, oh no, hell no, because they knew I wouldn't finish. There's no way. And and what you would do is you would go out and you would smoke the clutch or peel a cylinder off or whatever. And they just didn't want the bike to be silent light. So it's like, yeah, you can come here and race it, and then the way your contract reads, you can do it. So I could race anything but a KTM.
Okay.
That was in my contract. I could race anything anywhere in the world at any race except for a KTM. And so, but if and there was a little weird thing where if I actually was doing something for the magazine, I could have rode a KTM. But I called up a contact at Gas, and they said, "Oh, you want to ride our bike at Hoosberg? Yeah, factory rider. Well, you're full factory rider."
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I showed up, and they had the factory box van there, which was a broken down milk truck. This is Spain gas, by the way. My partner was Christian Pfeiffer, who was an incredible. He had won before on the gas, and partner team. He was on the same team. He got the new bike, the one new bike that they had, and I got like maybe his practice bike. It was a couple of years old.
Okay,
and that was my factory gas. That so that's what I got to race there. So this was previous to the BMW kind of showing up, and that BMW, it's really good at climbing hills. So there's certain things at Hoosberg where that G450 could have done really well, but there's other things, the having the clutch on the crankshaft, and there's a couple other things that wouldn't suit it to extreme enduro. Being a 454 stroke would probably be the number one thing.
Right.
Yes, Bob.
Lettenbichler the elder.
Lettenbichler, yeah.
Yeah.
He was also, he was gas. Oh no, he went to BMW, but he was also a gas rider.
But he rode that 4-stroke.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
isn't he the
Right.
one who finished?
He finished on it.
Well, he finished without a foot peg, didn't he?
I don't remember.
I thought I heard there's a story about him finishing Hoosberg without a foot peg.
That wouldn't surprise me. There's so many places to peel a foot peg off.
Yeah.
I had another South African guy fall on top of me and peeled my brake lever off.
Oh shit.
I would have had a top 10 finish there had that not happened.
Oh god.
But I beat Jeremy McGrath, so that's all that matters.
There you go.
That guy's relatively famous. You may have heard of him.
Once or twice.
Right. We have the same amount of Supercross championships.
Well, but yours is on smaller bikes, right?
Mine are in backyards. Some
Right,
guy's
right.
house in Thousand Oaks called Langtown.
Oh yeah.
May not be familiar with it, but there's videos on the internet.
Yeah, which I still need to look up these videos.
I made a lot more money racing mini bikes than I did racing big bikes for a long time.
But this is like with XR100 era, right?
Yeah, XR80, XR100. I don't know if the 100 actually come out when I was just cashing these big Langtown paychecks.
Right.
So good times.
Okay. So should we do a commercial break? I believe it's bound that time. Mm-hmm. All right.
Let's answer Todd Hicks' question real quick. So Todd, my Jimmy Juice has the stems and the butts in it.
Yeah.
Still.
Well, I got to hear the you swallowing that in HD.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. How do the factory dinosaurs that you were talking about compare to the factory bikes of 2022? They don't even compare. I bet you if I hopped on Bill's bike right now, and one of the main things about that was that it didn't vibrate compared to a stock bike. It was smooth. I'll bet you I'd hop on it right now and go, holy shit, what a vibrating heap of shit.
Right.
And I'd probably hop on it right now and go, man, stock KTM brakes are better than this. You know, this kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's in that length of time, there is no comparison. And even if you took that motor and dropped it into a modern chassis, you'd go, damn, this thing vibrates a whole lot. And it's really not that fast because the power band's kind of short compared to these 4-strokes. So,
Right.
yeah, things have evolved quite a bit. So,
Well, I actually have a follow-up question.
okay, well,
after
the
commercial
break? Okay,
Yep.
let's do that.
Living in the back room, sneaking through the back door. Never gonna get me, never gonna get me. Living in the back room, sneaking through the back door. Never gonna get me, get me, get me.
What's up, Moto Buddies? Mike here from Taco Moto Co. What is the Taco Touch? It's the best service in the industry. Virtually 24/7 tech support via email or text, and it's like having a dirt bike doctor on call every day of the year, helping you fix your bike or recommend parts or setups for you. If you've ever received an order from us, you know that the Taco Touch extends to our fulfillment, and our orders come with the coolest stickers that you've ever had, buying parts from anybody before, and a handful of root beer barrel candies. All of our Taco Moto Co. branded components come with a no questions asked lifetime warranty, and we'll even extend out the warranty of other manufacturers, OEM, and aftermarket parts where we can, sometimes for life. We test and tune endlessly and exhaustively and obsessively. We're trying to destroy everything that we can before you get your hands on it to look for weaknesses and to improve it, or to make recommendations to the manufacturer. And if it's something that doesn't meet grade, then we don't offer it on the store. Everything that we carry is something that we have personally used, tested, and ridden, and raced, and knows meets the high Taco Touch demanding standard. Go out and get some adventure.
Since 2009, Seat Concepts has been dedicated to making the best aftermarket seats. More comfort, more grip, more riding. For 10 years, we've continued to raise the bar. Innovation and American craftsmanship make Seat Concepts the world-leading manufacturer of power sports seats.
So welcome back. If you're just watching that Seat Concepts commercial, that's all the stuff I got to see live and in person at the factory tour I did before the KTM Adventure Rider Rally. So
Yeah, which looked really cool to see, just the pictures on Instagram.
yeah, they have some really cool stuff, and like I said, make awesome seats. And I'll just let you know that just like the tequila I drank,
Yeah.
it's got to be recommended and approved. I don't just I'll try anything, but if you're a sponsor of this show, you're a sponsor of the show because you make a good product, and I can honestly talk about it. And a lot of these companies give me, actually, I'd say 80% of them, they say, just have Jimmy talk about our products. We don't have to give you a script or anything like that. Just let him say what he would say.
Organic.
Yeah, just be organic about it. And I am. So if you have a question about any of the sponsors we have in the show, let me list them off for you. Yamaha, Moto, Scott Sports, Climb, DDC, Trail Tech, Fasst Company, Seat Concepts, and Bulletproof Designs. If you have any questions about that stuff, ask them on the show. I will answer them, and I'll be honest with you. If you described to me a situation where one of those companies' products would not be the best for you, I will tell you this. And this is the agreement I have with these companies, that like they know that there's not exclusivity. It's like, hey, they're supporting the show. They're supporting us because they like what we do. They enjoy it. And I'm having them on the show because I like what they do and I enjoy it. And they help us, they allow us to come to you for free. And that's why Free Talk is asking, where's the tacos? There would be more tacos here if we had more sponsors.
Yep.
We'd have a taco plate, and then I would
one sponsor short.
of a taco plate. Yeah, it's the gold. We have a list, but the worst part about that is I'd be eating the tacos live, and it would sound horrible. But I'm going to drink tequila live, and tonight's tequila. Get that camera up
Yeah,
here.
you got it.
Who's our
That camera.
that camera? Which one? It's
That one.
Look at this. Mark Daniels for you. This I got down in Cabo. When I was down there, I went to the really nice tequila shop. I told that story on episode probably 142, I'm guessing. 141, 142.
I think 145.
I'm drinking it out of my shot glass from my bartender, Janie, who retired. She got me a Galapagos Islands. That's a blue-footed booby. And Travis just ate shit. And I'm going to have a little bit of a shot. And this is sipping tequila, by the way. But I got one question to go to quickly before I have my sip of tequila. Redneck Supreme Leader 69, remember him?
Yeah.
He asked a question on the Instagram feed we were doing earlier. He said, what state has the best most options for dirt bike vacation?
Alaska is definitely not that state. Just saying that right now.
Baja California. Baja California, which is kind of like connected. Look, Janie's there. She saw it. Yeah, thank you, Janie. Cheers. So I'm having my sip. Baja California is the best one. And I'll bring up a former sponsor of the show, Costa Rica Unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
Costa Rica is another state where you can go to. Oh, it's a country? Okay. Yeah, you can go to the whole country of Costa Rica and ride all over there.
Well, let's look up the formal
Costa Rica
definition of a
Unlimited.
state.
It's a state of mind, Matt. Yeah, it's a state of mind. But like a dirt bike vacations, I know where I go, and I don't. I go different places almost every year. I kind of will focus on a certain area, and I never go back to the same place that much. I mix it around and switch it around, and the reason is because I like to explore. I like to see new places, and that way I can know where the best place is. And then if you go someplace, if I pick a wrong area, which I have a couple times. Mm-hmm. I picked the wrong area and went there because it was really good, and then it got wrecked because it was really good. And every ding dong on every check me out, I'm riding here and here, posting, tagging locations, all this stuff, like some pristine stuff. Like, and you get ding dong internet influencers says I rode here, and they they'll share track logs with you and stuff like that. Guess what? How much does that cost you to get that information?
Nothing.
Zero, free. So you have nothing invested, and you go there, and you have no idea about the guys that work on the trails and maintain the trails. It's somebody's secret stash, essentially, or it's just Because any place that's really super close to big populous locations and stuff, generally not that good. Overused. It can be good, but it can be overused. So I kind of get bummed when people talk about it. That's why I really don't really comment on locations too much. Kind of keep it quiet, or it's not going to be that good for very long. So I hate to dance around the answer, but find it yourself. Find it and go there. And if you go there, put something back in. Just don't go and take. Put something back in. When I go ride on states that have, like, you need to buy the sticker, I buy the sticker. I don't just go, I'll never get caught. I buy the sticker. If you run into some guys that, some local guys or something like that, and they're riding around with chainsaws, help them.
Yeah.
Or carry a chainsaw, do some trail work. When I go early season on some of these places, I cut trees. And I don't know, almost every one of these ding dongs that's talking, oh, go here and go there. They don't work on trails. They post shit on Instagram and Facebooks and whatever. Have their favorite routes on a list on some trail site or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, I like running into these guys and having a nice discussion out in the woods with them. Yeah.
Right.
So, anyways, cheers.
So, I mentioned before the break I had a follow-up question for something that you had brought up quite a ways back. I'm kind of circling, not like a full city block, but a good chunk of a block. So you had mentioned that factory bikes back in the day were nothing like factory bikes today, and not necessarily in technology, but in the leap from a stock bike to a factory bike. You kind of implied that was a greater leap than it is today.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the bikes today are so good.
Right.
The difference, the bikes back then were not as tuned as good as they are today. Mm-hmm. And as much as guys will not believe me when I tell you this, the power delivery on the bikes today is a lot closer to the way that the factory motorcycle delivers it than you would think, as far as the smoothest. And everybody says, this bike feels slow. Well, slow and rideability kind of go a little bit hand in hand.
Right.
And on a factory bike, you turn the throttle and it just accelerates harder than the stock bike where you turn the throttle. But here's the thing about the stock bike. If you can still turn the throttle, there's more power available for free. Mm-hmm. So don't give me my bike doesn't have enough power if you're not wide open. Just
right.
We'll stop right there.
So, well, my question is now, is that greatness? And I think you've kind of stated the answer. So is the reason for that gap being shrinking, is that because the stock bikes have just gotten that much better? Or has there been like a production rule that has limited the factory bikes from being, like the pinnacle, like the F1 cars, the difference between an F1 car and an average car?
Yeah, well, it's technologies have gotten a lot better. So the technologies that are available, like, kind of shorten that gap up. The production kind of rule and the cost it takes to build a factory bike, and since the production bikes are so good, or they can make a production bike good enough to where it can be, quote, a factory bike with modifications, that there's the thing is, there's not a rider that needs that extra level. They can do everything with basically production-ish components, which fit in production rule, to make it into what is a factory bike. And I don't think what really makes a factory bike is the amount of manpower and hours and tuning it takes to make it work the way that the rider needs to make it work. So when you sit there and go, I want kit or factory suspension, you're going to get suspension that is just as bad as the stock suspension from a standpoint of, was it tuned for me? Mm-hmm. It's not. It's tuned for everybody. When you buy kit suspension, in fact, they throw it, who knows what, and that thing, they don't care what they throw in it, because they're sending it, they should be selling it to somebody who is going to get it tuned and modified for that person. And if you don't know what that stuff is really set up for, you may not even be in the right field. Most guys that buy that stuff, typically, my opinion, buy it because of what it looks like, and they say it's on their bike.
Right,
So it's like
right.
they point at it, go, yeah, factory shock, factory forks. Well, look at those coatings. That's really good. How's it work? Oh, it's awesome. And what are you going to do? Tell them no, it isn't?
Right.
I don't tell them how it works until I ride it. But so
Yeah. Well, that was an excellent point. I like the point where what makes a factory bike is the hours that's put into it, not necessarily the components.
that's the stuff costs a little bit more. It might be a little bit better materials, but most people, you could leave the outsides of factory stuff on a factory. You could leave the outsides on and throw just generic stock stuff on the inside, and it would probably work better for most people that are that are outside of the racing realm that buy it. But it takes tuning and time, and somebody that knows what they're doing to make it work. Hey, I got to bring up something else that I've learned about this weekend up at the KTM rally. Is there's the Oahui, I'm not saying this, Oahui motocross track, which is in Boise, Idaho. It's literally just a few minutes outside of downtown, and it's a motorcycle club that's been around since the early 1900s. They have a property. They've had a track there forever, and all of a sudden, development kind of moves in, and they want to get rid of it. And I've seen this happen plenty of times at many different places. And so somebody that's either wants to have the whole area to themselves, or they're going to develop it, has bought all the area around the outside of them. And now there's this little motorcycle park in this really awesome place. It's been there forever. And they're trying to run them out. So they went through all these court cases and stuff, and so they went through a settlement. And now they can stay if they can, and I'll put it bluntly, quit contaminating the water that runs off from the place. So they have to do a drainage project, which is, you want to get rid of a motorcycle park? I'll tell you right now, all the environmentalists listen to this. So the first thing you go after is noise. Okay, just say they got to meet noise standards. That's it. That's one that's tough to get, but these guys are obviously doing something there. Then the second thing you go after is water. If there's any erosion from the place, if any of the water that runs off the property is contaminated, this is the thing. So this is what they stuck them with. And so now they have to fix this, which they can. There's projects and there's ways they can do that. And then of course the next thing they go after is dust, particulate matter, air quality kind of stuff. And so anyways, the good thing is these guys are fighting back, and they're really trying to make this track thing. So what they have is a rally. A raffle. I'm sorry. They have a raffle where they're raffling on a Husky 501, really nice bike, and it has all this kind of cool stuff on it. And there's some other products that they're raffling off as well. And they need to raise about $80,000 because the club operates as a nonprofit, and they need to raise about $80,000 just to get the materials and stuff to do the work that they need to do this. So I actually got behind it because I offered them a school. I said, hey, I'll do a free school, add it to your raffle so there's more prizes so more people do it. But it's more about just getting the word out there that they need some help and assistance. And this may not be the park in your backyard, but trust me, when it's the park in your backyard or close to you or whatever, you're going to hope that you get some national support and people that are understand. And I've ridden there before. I rode there a long, long time ago when I was going up to race the Idaho 100, the qualifier up there. I think I went up there with someone else who was a local from the area to go kind of set our bikes up to try, to get the jetting right or, whatever. And back then it seemed like it was a long ways out of town, but I knew we drove right through the middle of town to get there. I guess now it's right, town is encroached on the riding area. But I think we have a link to put up.
And it is up right now
in the chat. Yeah, so there's a link about the.
And I'll put this link in the description for the podcast as well.
Awesome.
So that way, the people who are listening to this after we record it, you can just go ahead and click the description, and it should be there for you to click, and you can buy the raffle tickets.
Yeah,
there.
buy some raffle tickets. Support them. Tell a friend. Share that link. That's the biggest thing. Share the link, and if you buy a few tickets and stuff, then you're you're in a raffle. And the thing is, you spend $20, $50, $100 or whatever it is. You spend this, and you forget about it, and somebody calls you up and says, "Hey, you want a Husky?"
There you go.
Maybe you're that lucky duck.
Yeah. So please, you can copy that link that I put in the chat, and you can put it on your social media right now.
Yeah, if you're sitting there bored out of your skull, listening to this damn thing. And if you're listening to this, go to the show description and you'll see it there, or check out dirtbiketest.com. We'll probably try to put something up there, or it'll be in the link to this show. So, good times.
Great times.
Anything else?
Well, speaking of great times, I think it's time for everyone's favorite segment.
No. How's your beginner bike testing going?
It's going good. It's
Yep.
going good. Yeah.
Do you have a winner?
I've had a winner for about a week now. Or
Okay.
maybe
Still
10
secret,
days.
right?
Still a secret for now. I do want it to be saved
Is
for...
your mom going to tell us in the video?
My mom did pick...
The same bike as you?
We agreed on the winner.
That's good.
Yeah.
No fights. I think...
Actually,
Hey,
two of my testers agreed with me on the winner.
you know what I want to do before Rooster Endo?
Oh, because the helmet.
We forgot about this last week. I brought
I'm
it
going
in,
to
but
put the camera on you.
okay, we forgot about this. We didn't even do it last week. I didn't even announce it, right?
We put it in the introduction of the podcast.
Oh, I talked about how I forgot to do it.
Yeah.
So this is my Climb F5 Cryos. I'm trying to get the name right, because I always forget the names of these things. So this is Climb's latest adventure bike helmet. Here it is, and Bob's the lapdog Bob is showing me my glasses that I don't have, because no, it wasn't that. I was sitting there trying to read it, and I'm like going, oh, I know they put the name here, because I didn't know if it was F3 or F5, or maybe it's not but it's the Cryos Pro. So I don't think it's an F3 or F5. I think those are the off-road helmets. I think once it goes to Cryos, it's this. That thing. That's adventure or dual sport riders. And if you haven't ridden with one of these helmets yet, with the pop-down visor, which pops out of the way, and if you really want to wear goggles, which you don't really want to when you're doing this kind of riding, that's a big deal. It really keeps your face, the wind off your face, keeps you can pop it open and get a little breeze, pop it down, and it's just comfortable. I don't know what it is. I think it just keeps the wind burned off your face if you're doing like lots of miles. So I rode with this weekend. I did not test it, which is a good thing, because in order to test a helmet, you must crash your head into the ground.
That
right?
kind of test, yeah.
That kind of testing. I mean, really. But
really just testing ventilation and comfort, right?
So the problem that I had with my older Climb Cryos helmets was venting. Number one was venting. And so we were riding in extremely cold, and then it got warm again. And they now have a little vent guy here that pops up and down. I mean, you could always open up the visor, but a lot of times there's bugs and different things. Rain. We had rain.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that.
A little bit of rain. And you could put the visor, all the way down. The rain isn't smacking you on the cheek and the nose, and you can still let some air in there. There's also a vent up here that pops up and down. It goes click, click. Actually, the vent's in the way right now, but vent goes up and down. Awesome venting. It's way better than before. So it went from nothing to something, which is good. Not like the super old Climb helmets. Do you remember those that had air channels and stuff in them?
Oh yeah, I remember the first time I saw, like you showed it to me, and
Yeah.
it was.
It's the most vented helmet in the world, but you don't want that much venting, because it actually, if somebody roosts you, it actually amplifies the roost into your head.
Oh
It
boy.
sucks it back down. So this helmet comes with two different windscreens. One's clear, and this one is actually light sensitive,
Oh really?
which is super cool.
Yeah.
Because that way you don't have to be worried about having sunglasses. When you're doing it, you don't have to have the sunglasses. It comes with the, what do they call this thing? It's the little stick-on thing that eliminates the fogging.
I forgot what those are called. I used to have to install those when I worked at a shop.
It's called the pin lock.
There we go.
Yeah, the pin lock thing. So it's all set up. This comes standard with it. The other thing I had was the indexing on the old helmet wasn't as good for moving the vent up, and then the way it settled back down and sealed. This seems to be definitely improved. But I'll tell you, the one thing that you need to know about this helmet is it's a round head shape helmet, and I have an oval head shape.
Oh yeah.
So more of an oval. I think I've heard it's 50-50, but I think there's more ovals than there are rounds. And so I typically fit well into Arai helmets as opposed to Shoei.
Okay.
And then the climb, like the climb F3, for instance, feels like it's more of an oval, where the F5 feels where it's more of a round shape. So I would suggest trying it out. But even because of that, there's basically some channels. The liner's totally removable up underneath here. You can pop the liner all out. And I was able to just like cut some of the channels on the foam down, and it was fine. So with just a slight modification, I turned it into a oval helmet.
Yeah, there you go.
And I was comfortable. Like I kind of, when I put it on and tried it, I said, oh, this might be a little bit round for me. Put it on after the first 4 hours. I had a couple little divots in my head.
Oh boy.
And then I pulled the liner back, saw where those things were, tuned them up a little bit. And then on the way back, I was fine. So all good there. And if you're smart, you put all it takes is a sticker, and you're part of the club. So, and if I do crash, this has Koroyd in it.
Do explain what that is.
It's like you take all the straws that are now illegal in California, but it's made of this special material. They look like straws. They put them together. It's like an impact or crush barrier.
Okay.
So it allows torsional flex and compression
Oh,
as
wow.
well. So instead of just being like all EPS,
Yeah.
they have these Koroyd sections in here, and that's that's Climb's kind of extra level of safety. And I have torpedoed my head into a sand dune where I felt that I said, "Oh, this is going to be bad," and it wasn't bad. And it was actually an early Koroyd helmet.
Mm-hmm.
And I opened it up and I looked inside. I said, "Holy crap! Look at that stuff! It's all twisted and distorted." And so I sent it back to him and said, "Yep, it did its job."
That's perfect.
That's a lot of energy.
Wow. Yeah.
That stuff absorbed. So it's not MIPS, or it's one of those things.
It's almost like a bunch of little straws.
It's essentially like straws that can break and crush and
And like
in
twist
different ways.
and everything.
Yeah,
That's cool.
They can deform. So
Wow. It protects you and turtles.
turtles have straws too.
Well, the
It
whole
kills-
thing the whole thing about plastic straws is like turtles and
No,
stuff.
straws kill turtles and dolphins and
Yeah,
tuna
yeah.
fish, but they help your head.
Yeah, but that's not
When
going to
they're
the turtles because it's
called
protecting
Koroyd
you.
and they're in the Climb Cryos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the F5, it's Cryos. It might be called a Cryos F5. Something tells me I saw F5 in there or something, but it's an EC DOT helmet, so it meets all the standards that I like. And all good. So I forgot to talk about that last week. I was going to talk about it. I was going to talk about it that I was going to use it, and now I used it, and I like it.
Nice.
And just a small tune-up for me on the foam. But I would like most helmets, I would really like to get a try on before I actually purchase them.
Right.
And that's difficult if you're doing a lot of stuff mail order. But yeah, worked out awesome. Especially so. Just let me know if you're a more round head form, you're going to love it right away. If you're more oval, might need a little bit of tuning.
Do you have that backwards?
Round, it's a round helmet, and if you're an oval head like me,
Okay.
you might need a tune. Yeah,
I think I heard you backwards before.
right. It's set up for round head shape more than oval. So in my opinion, I would say it's actually kind of in the middle because it's not as bad as some round ones. But then again, the way that they have the foam set up inside there these days, a lot of times there's only certain parts that are contacting your head. So like the parts that are making it into a round head shape can easily be kind of tuned down a little bit. And it might not, in the grand scheme of things, it might affect the compression because you don't get that little bit of compression from that ridge of foam. Actually, on some of the helmets when we did a really crazy test on helmets, the way that the helmets were able to achieve a really good rating was to have like little ribs of foam as opposed to just a piece of foam. So like kind of like a bicycle helmet. If you see bicycle helmets, the way that the bicycle helmets are all vented, it's actually really good for absorbing impacts because they crack and break as opposed to stay all together. And so they
Well, it allows the force is distributed to crush the things rather than just push it on you then.
yeah. And Bob's raising his hand. It's amazing how much a lapdog knows about motorcycles and
Time
things.
distance for energy attenuation. And so those little ribs give you more distance.
Ribs
Yeah.
give you more distance before it takes more time
Yes.
for the impact for the energy
Energy's attenuated.
transfer into the brain. So Todd Kelly has a nice question. What's that?
What do you think about mountain bike helmets for more slow riding? It's kind of a trend here in southern Arizona to wear highly vented full-face mountain bike helmets during the hot months.
You know, if you tell me how you're going to crash, Todd, I'll tell you exactly which helmet to wear. It's that simple. Unfortunately, on your motorcycle, it's real easy to twist the throttle and get going a little bit faster than you ever will on your motorcycle, on your mountain bike. And a lot of the injuries, the head injuries that I have been associated with, not me personally, but I've been around, involve the motorcycle hitting the rider in the head. So a bike hitting you in the head, probably you can get away with a mountain bike. But if you just think about dropping your motorcycle on your mountain bike helmet, although some of the downhill ones are actually pretty good. And I've seen guys race extreme enduros in them. So, hey, it's your head. Put whatever you want on top of it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm on board with, if it's the full-face vented helmets that I'm thinking of, I don't know if I'd be on board at any speed with a motorcycle.
Yeah, in the whole chin bar on the front of the helmet, there are some tests into that, but it's really not that. They don't care about your face. Like when they're designing a helmet, they're more worried about your brain. So it's kind of encompassing up here. That's why you can get away with those, like in the DOT tests, you can have those like dome helmets that people are wearing and stuff. Just those, because you just have to protect the top part of the skull. They don't care about your jaw and your nose. If you care about your jaw and your nose and things like that, well, you might want to think a little bit about that. So, yeah, I'm just of the point where you need to make your own decisions about your safety, and I will tell you what I know. But at the end of the day, if you want to ride with no helmet or something like that, or less of a helmet, I just don't want to pay your medical bills.
Yeah, so, I'm out on it.
Yes, Bob.
So there's work being done to make frangible front lower sections.
Frangible.
Yeah.
Can you explain? Collapsible? Yeah.
So that it doesn't do this rotational maneuver.
Right.
And break your neck.
So Bob was talking about having kind of like a breakaway, because that's where like the stuff is, like there's a certain amount of tightness you want on the helmet, so that it fits and you don't have any additional acceleration. But there's also this thing where they want the helmet to twist on you, and that face shield, the chin bar, when it's hit improperly, can kind of twist and actually cause some side rotation. Although, some of the studies I saw that's actually good, as opposed to just going kind of straight in. If you actually if your head starts turning as it hits the ground, it spreads the load out better. Right. Again, tell me how you're going to crash. Show me exactly how you're going to crash, and I go, oh, we can design a helmet for that. And then every helmet engineer that I talked to basically said those same words, and not one of them said, tell me how much you want to spend and I'll tell you how safe we can be. And this is the biggest misconception that we ever hear about on helmets. And I'm one of the guys that says it just clearly, because I don't have a helmet company, and but I know that a lot of these guys, don't let the price determine your helmet. Let fit, number one, weight, number two. Those are the two things that actually have a significant impact on how much that helmet will work for you. Weight's probably the first thing. No, fit's the first thing. No, I said it right. Fit is the first thing, because if it's an improperly fitting helmet, especially too loose, that's the worst thing. Added weight just adds to the force. So those two things can actually be scientifically kind of calculated, and generally those two things, the better they are, the better result is. And then everything else makes literally no difference at all. And the only time price came into play is if you kind of averaged out over a lot of different helmets, because sometimes you're paying for the name and sometimes you're paying for the styling. Other times you're paying for better materials, and you're paying for more R&D and research put into even lesser materials, but to make them work better. So don't let the price be because a helmet is a disposable item, and if you use your helmet and you test it and it works, you should probably replace it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
We should get onto this Rooster Endo thing.
We should, because I'm looking at the time. I'm looking at the time, so.
Okay, so Roosterendo is brought to you by Taco Moto. That's tacomoto.co. Go to their website at any time, any place in the world, and you can find something there for your motorcycle, including the underwater running kit, which I might have needed when I was riding a couple weeks ago because I rode my bike to the depth of handlebars. But luckily I shut it off. And I told that story last week or the week before.
Yeah.
And it was a good one. So tacomoto.co gives us a $100 gift certificate for the best submission we have, and we get to decide what the best is, but that's not until we decide whether your bike roosts or endos.
Yep.
Thank God this guy actually took a picture of his bike with some light on it.
Yeah.
Who is it?
This is Cole Smith. This is his 2020 300 EXC. He has it set up for tactical riding, has Midwest mountain clutch lever, KTM hard parts gripper street with a tug strap, force billet radiator guards, and force bash plate. Fastway Evo 4 foot pegs, 5 millimeters lower and 5 millimeters back. Mita's EF07 with new tech. Mitas, yeah. With new tech plushy moose and golden tire 216 fatty on the front and over 100 hours of trouble-free riding. What a tractor. Makes me look like I have some riding ability. Love your work. Keep it up.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the compliments. I appreciate you sending a bike in. I haven't seen this. Is this the first time we've had one of the big old basher skid plates?
I think so. Actually, I'm trying to remember. There might have been one a long time ago.
So he has that skid plate, and I first saw these in South Africa when I did the Roof of Africa. And they were all home built. There was obviously a guy over there who you could take your bike there, and he would build a bash plate that extended from the skid plate up over the pipe, because it was really hard to get pipes in South Africa at the time, and just things. So they would protect everything, and this skid plate kind of reminds me of that. Looks like a pretty nice Chariot.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that. I'm looking at the foliage, trying to decide where exactly he's at. He's kind of disguised. There's a lot of green in there. Looking, the fatty tires indicate, some mud riding and things like that. I would think. I don't know.
Looks like there's like.
Did he say what his grabber straps were?
I think I said tuggers.
Did you say tugger straps?
Where's my?
We like.
Where did my thing go?
I don't know. You probably threw it over your shoulder.
Here we
like
go.
You always do. You don't care.
Always. Yeah, you know me. No, it just says tug strap. KTM hardware's gripper and tug strap.
Okay.
Gripper seat and tug strap.
Gripper seat. Okay, yeah. So tugger. They're probably tugger straps. This guy's getting busy with his bike.
Yeah.
I mostly like it. What sprockets are those? He definitely needs some DDC ones, but what sprocket?
Is that stock or Renthals?
It doesn't look like stock.
Let me see if I can enhance here.
Looks like his chain's a little too tight too. Chain might just be a tad bit on the tight side. So if you're on our video feed,
that looks
tight, doesn't it?
Oh, the chain definitely does.
And it looks like a steel. So the reason I caught that, it looks like a steel sprocket. It looks like a oh man, I don't know. Like, it doesn't look like a Sunstar one, because Sunstar does those kind of Swiss cheesy stainless steel ones.
It's definitely not Sunstar.
And judging by the color of his chain, he's got some definitely some caustic water down there. I'm looking at that plant in the background. Is that Hawaii? But I don't know. I'm liking this. I think he's got his bike set up, but loosen up your chain, because I don't want your countershaft bearing to go out like Cooper's did. So yeah, I'm going roost, Matt. What are you doing?
It's kind of middle of the road.
Middle of the road. Well, everybody goes so crazy with graphics and all this other stuff.
No,
and
I appreciate just the plastics.
I don't think this guy looks at his bike. He stands around and looks at his bike that much. He just rides it.
Yeah.
And that's why he's a little bit more like me. So
Roosting?
Yeah, roosting. I don't know why I would like somebody to be more like me, because it's stupid, but okay.
All right, so this was an email submission sent to me a couple days ago. This is a good one.
What is it, a video?
No, it's not a video. The only video one is the one that George sent.
This board is falling apart. We need a cork board.
Moving forward.
We need to get. Does anybody here want to be like an intern at Dirt Bike Test? We're having an intern position in Pahrump, Nevada. You have to work. Well, it's real simple. you could probably work for 4 days and save me 1 hour of my work. I mean, in other words, I could do what I'm going to ask you to do in 1 hour, but it'll take you 4 days to do because I have to keep re-explaining it. So net, I'll lose a lot of time, but you'll learn a lot, and then you come be an intern. I don't care if you're 70 years old. Bob, how old are you?
Old.
Okay, so I'm going to fire Bob, even from being the lapdog in the room, because all the other kids had to go to school, so we fired him. Okay, what's this?
This is from Landon Snyder. It's a stock 2021 KTM 300 XCW with a custom seat delete kit. Feel free to schedule a class with him to learn how to accomplish such a mod.
So his buddy sent this in.
No, this is him.
Oh, he sent it in.
Yeah.
Oh, he wants to schedule a class with you.
Nah, he says
He
we'll
might have
schedule a class with him so we can learn how to do this.
Oh,
And I don't think I wanted to attend that
I know how
class.
to do that.
You just put it in first gear and you twist the throttle.
Yeah, you regrip the throttle in a bad way, and then
Yeah.
you just do that.
This is easy mod, yeah.
Easy mod, yeah. Well, actually, what he was doing is he's a good listener to the show. Obviously, if you sent this stuff in, and he was thinking about buying the ECU and some reeds and a different pipe and a different muffler.
Yeah.
And he was going to buy all that stuff, and he said, "Well, Jimmy said there's more power for free if I just turn the throttle farther." Mm-hmm. And then he got the free seat delete kit that came along with that.
I hear Canadians are good at looping out 300s.
Is it Canadian?
I don't think so.
Why Canadians?
Wasn't that a Canadian with your 300?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. No, they don't just loop it out. They smack. His muffler still looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Like my muffler was in a different location when that Canadian guy. I blame it on the fact that they're not used to being out in the sun and everything. They live underground most of the year, and so they came out and their little beady eyes aren't used to all that sun. And then when they kind of they close down, they can't see, and then there's the throttle. So, well, you looped out, but you endo. In my world, I like the confusion on his face.
You think his subframe is okay?
I don't. I was actually just started thinking that as you said that. Well, so I'm sure that all the Husky people out there, the white KTMs that have plastic subframes,
Yeah.
I wonder what would happen there. But I don't see.
It kind of looks like it's okay.
Yeah, the fact that it came off together, but I don't. I think the way that is. What year was it? 2020.
21.
21. That has a single seat bolt that goes through there. What does that actually bolt to? Does it bolt to the fender?
Yeah.
It's kind of all all plastic in that
One
fender.
bolt goes all the way through to the other side.
There must
Yeah.
have been some kind of crack there already for it to break off like that.
Yeah, he's lucky his gas come off too.
Yeah.
Endo. I'm not coming to your class either. I'm going to the guy who straps my bike into the wheelie machine where I can just like turn the throttle and I don't do anything. I just like ride along and I think I learned how to wheelie by doing it. Because if I can't take a pill, put it on a machine, or do it for free, then why would I want to put any extra work? Whoa, here we go.
Yeah, there's two like this.
Two like this.
Well, not quite like this, but all right. This is 2003 XR650L.
He should have just put the years. It could be like 2022 to 1996.
What is going on with that muffler?
That's the stock one.
That's stock?
Yeah.
Whisper quiet.
Oh yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
crap. Okay. Seat concept seat.
Good.
Hebo Trials handlebars with tusk clamps. Oxford heated grips. Rejetted carb and K&N air filter. Kenda K270 rear tire. Pirelli MT21 front tire. eBay rear shark fin. JT Racing O-ring chain.
eBay rear shark fin.
He bought it this spring with 4,200 miles on it.
Thing's barely broken in.
Yeah. He's got quite a lot of miles left to go on that.
That thing will last. That thing's gonna last till it's illegal to ride because it has a
Yeah.
gas motor in it. That's a cherry. That's a Bush Pig Royale. And he hasn't put a big tank on it or anything like that. It's like that was the #1 mod for us out in the desert when we had those. But that seems like a pretty nice cherry. Whisper quiet for sure with that stock muffler on it. It weighs like 300 and something pounds.
The muffler.
Yeah, well, the bike in general, but the muffler isn't helping any. I like his choice of rear tire, Kenda, although I do not like that rear tire.
Yeah.
But he's probably logging some street miles on the thing too, so that'll work out. What do you think, Matt?
Oh, Roost. Roost.
What if it was a KLR?
It goes above the 570.
It goes above, yeah.
Yeah, because, we were talking about greatest bikes in the world.
Oh, geez.
KLR 650.
I have a KLR 650 in the shop right now. I don't see you riding it every day. You should say, I don't really want to drive my mom car back into Vegas. Can I ride the KLR, Jimmy? And I'm like, yeah. Do you know how many? Do you know how many chicks will be following you back to your palace in Vegas if you ride that KLR over the hill?
Absolutely none.
Lots of them.
No.
Yeah,
not a KLR.
You have no idea how many girls would crawl out of the drainage culverts and stuff like that when you're going through town.
I have yet to see the effect of me riding motorcycles actually work on women.
Oh, well,
Around town.
yeah. Hey, does it look like, you probably can't see it, but in the upper left-hand corner of this picture, does it look like there's a crazy man? It almost looks like Theodore Roosevelt his face is in one of those trees.
I have no idea what
Overlooking?
you're talking. I do not see. Oh shit! I kind of see it.
You gotta work on the
Yeah.
clipping there. You gotta
No,
tune
I
that
think it's
thing
the
down.
headphones. Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so weird how we can see faces and patterns like
There's
that.
there's something wrong with me, but other than that,
Yeah. No. I see it too.
So you're going with this bike, Roos?
I think it wrists.
I want to say that this bike, the only reason it roosts, this is the only reason, is because he has a seat concept seat on it, and they're a sponsor of the show, and that bike was designed to be ridden sitting down. It's kind of like a KTM 390. The handlebar, everything in that thing says sit down, sit down, sit down. The foot peg position, everything.
Also kind of like a KLX 230 RS.
Yeah, so he made a really good decision by buying that seat, and I think it's good. And so he's on the path. He'll be riding a Yamaha in a few years. He'll have a Tenere. He'll have a Tenere. Give me that pen. It's roosting.
Yeah.
Hey, and I like that they got the. He actually carefully placed that bike on a really bitchin' trail that I want to ride in a nice green forest, and
That's awesome.
yeah, pretty cool. Thank you.
All right, and here we go. This is from
And Victor, of course, says you can move some kilos inside of that muffler. He's not talking about that kind of weight.
Oh yeah. All right, so this is Dan Parker's 1984 XR80. Has a rebuilt engine, 1982-ish gas tank, Dunlop 756 rear tire, loads of fun for the whole family. Eventually, I'll try to get the correct tank and side panels / front number plate.
What about a front fender? That's not the right front fender. That front fender's off like an XL 125, and you got that 16-inch front wheel. Notice they didn't talk about the front tire?
No.
Try getting another one of those other than Honda OEM parts. Good luck. We used to spoke our wheels over to 17-inchers so we could run the stuff they had on the 85s or 80s at the time. So I'm seeing a trend here. It's where somebody wins the $100
And then they submit.
and they go for it, because if you're not looking at this photo, if you're listening to this, he has probably, I want to say two third. Well, he has two kids on there.
Yeah.
I like the kids on the bike. I think that's pretty cool.
Big smile.
Big smiles. Again, if you had your wife on there, or maybe his wife was on there and that's why the photo is cropped like that.
Oh no.
Was mom back on there, or she's kind of fallen off because her hands just slipped off his waist? I don't know. Or mom was taking the photo. She was riding with them because they were out on a ride, and she said, "Honey, get off and take a picture of us." Do you think that's what happened?
I think they're just in the backyard.
They're in the backyard,
Yeah.
and he does this to put the kids to sleep.
I don't think. I think maybe the one in the front, but the one in the middle looks like he's too excited to go to sleep.
Yeah, he's because they're all reaching for the handlebars.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. But I think it's a ploy. It's like, hey, those guys pick anyone that the whole family's on the bike. They're winners.
Yeah. Hey, it worked a couple weeks ago. But doesn't mean it'll work this week.
But they got good light on the photo. It's nice. Everybody's having fun. But they missed half of the bike.
And the front fender's not. It's almost as long as the bike.
It's kind of like the boner I woke up with this morning.
Oh wow! You still get those at your age?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, no,
I'm impressed.
Are they supposed to not? Am I supposed to?
Oh, I thought you needed to take a little magic pill.
If it lasts for more than a certain amount of hours, am I supposed to consult a doctor?
You need to consult a doctor regardless.
I should consult a doctor about my comments in this photo.
Or a psychiatrist.
Yeah, either way. So what year did he say it was?
84.
Black engine. And he wants to get the right stuff for it.
Yeah.
I have some of this stuff rotting in my backyard at my house in California. But I mean, it's rotten. I could probably throw a rock at the front fender plate and it'll turn into dust. That's a shame. I mean, it really is a shame but what a fun bike. And I don't know if those shock springs were stock too. Red? Yeah. Okay. So I think the bike endos, but the family roosts.
So right in the middle.
It's right in the middle again.
I'd lean towards endo just because that front fenders ruin it for me.
Yeah, it reminds me of something. Like I said,
You already said it. You can only say it once.
I can only say it once.
And I only have one comeback, so we can't keep it.
Got it. But you can't, man. That kid's having a lot of stinking fun.
I think middle of the road might be fair.
Middle of the road. Okay, we'll just go middle of the road.
Yeah.
He has a family, and that's all he can afford.
Well, he's wearing it looks like an older Troy Lee Designs race team T-shirt
yeah.
back from when they were like Honda.
Yeah, I see it.
Back from there. So, you know, I guarantee you this guy has a few bikes in the shed. So he's not trying to get this one.
Well, hold on.
Yeah, it's going more to endo because I'm really pissed off that they didn't get the bike framed up. You know, she's got to learn to push the button down, then they have to edit out the photos to get the good one.
Well, speaking of the trend here, apparently everyone wanted old Hondas in their pictures, and this isn't the submission isn't even about the Honda. Oops.
He's got more Honda in the photo than he does the bike he's talking about, right?
That's because the framing is all jacked up on my end. 1 second.
Well, wait.
There we go.
Oh,
there's the photo. Yeah, it went really zoomed in for some reason.
Okay, so I'm gonna. Well, okay, here we go. He's got as much of his lawnmower in this picture as he does on the motorcycle. Yep. He didn't wash his bike.
He didn't take
it outside. You know where this is going, right?
Oh, actually, as soon as I saw the submission.
Can you take this and turn the photo like at 45 degrees down so we just get an idea where it is going? Don't break the show to do this. Yeah. There's probably rotate.
Yeah, we can rotate it 90 degrees. There's a way to.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't allow you to twist it. You have to grab the corner handle and then like turn it down. So I'm going to tell you what this bike is. It is a 2000 and I want to say 17, 18 KTM 250. I'm looking at the shock, trying to figure it out. EXC, am I right?
So for the first time, I can say this is the most wrong you've ever been on trying to guess the model.
Oh,
it is a 2021 KTM 300 XCW.
21.
Yeah.
XCW.
Mm-hmm.
So when I said EXC, I meant XCW. So I was right there. 250 or 300?
300.
300. Okay. So
it's deceiving because this reminds me of like 2010 to 2011.
The bike, yeah,
colors.
I think it's just once a bike starts getting ugly and dirty, unwashed, in other words, then they all look the same to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, but hey, how about that 1981 Honda XR80 in the background?
And the fender looks right.
The fender, that's the proper fender. That bike looks completely stock. Although his front number plate, he probably left it outside. He threw a rock at it and it turned into dust. Like I said.
Oh, DeWalt power. He's probably got a DeWalt hand drill too.
Yeah.
Looks like an original seat.
It looks like the original seat and all that stuff on it. That bike is bless you, Matt. That's not COVID, is it? Because we're over that. I heard it's no longer a pandemic. It was declared no longer. Oh, they're bringing it back.
No, they're walking it.
They're walking it back, right?
And this guy has no radiator louvers.
Well, no, he has those. To me, look like bulletproof designs radiator guards. Am I right?
Well, let me get to the
tell us what we got.
It only has 100. So it has 125 hours with 2,100 miles. Protection parts only. Moto's bash plate because my will to do hard enduro is greater than my ability. Cycra Pro Bend handguards, a Cherubies lower fork guard, Tusk rear, in all caps, disc guard, carbon up clutch cover because I cracked the stock one, Creft suspension, Tusk radiator guards, and a
Tusk,
stock
yeah.
ECU because it's perfect. 1980 XR80 in the background. That's the first dirt bike I ever learned to use the clutch. So he's kept his first bike.
Did I call it an 81?
I think 81.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, 19, I should have said 1980. Damn it.
Well, that's closer than your guess on the bike.
Right.
That he actually submitted for.
It just somehow to me it looked like a carbureted one. That's why I kind of went back a few years and stuff. So I like that it's it looks like, what do you ride a National Enduro there, 46A?
I don't like that his front number plate and his side plates have different numbers.
Well, 502 indicates that he's drunk. That's on the side, and the 46A was the number he got at the Enduro that he rode.
Nice.
So, yeah, I think you got a nice bike there. How does that aluminum pipe guard rattle on the pipe? That I don't know if that's part of the skid plate, kind of like that one we were talking about earlier.
Wait,
I don't know if that's a big all-in.
Is this a crack?
It could be a crack.
Because it looks pretty irregular for it to be intentional.
Right. It's so he has a
jagged. Let me zoom in on that because that.
It looks like it
is intentional. It bolts over it.
Bolts across.
Yeah, that is intentional.
Does he say what kind of pipe guard that is, or is that the skid plate and it's all encompassed?
Moto's bash plate.
Moto's. I'm not familiar with this brand, and I don't know, but yeah,
It's a flying buttress.
Yeah, it's well. I mean, if you don't want to be buying a pipe all the time, for some guys that's a pretty good option, I think. But man, that thing would have to resonate, noise, and rattle and whatnot. Kind of like those ones they had on the bikes in South Africa. So good modifications, horrible picture, nice bike on the side. But since you're deflecting from what we're really,
here's something he also missed.
Oh, what did he
That's
miss?
SKF. Fork seals.
Some fork seals down there.
He didn't mention.
Well, I'll tell you what that is. That's the box for the SKF seal that you buy when you have a KTM RFS 4-stroke and your starter sprag starts going out. Well, you buy this seal and you steal the springs off of it, and you wrap those springs around your starter sprags.
Yeah.
And that's what allows the starter to work when it doesn't work. That's what that box is, I can tell.
Got it.
So, Endo.
Okay.
Endo.
I'm there with you. So, who won?
Do we have a roulette wheel anyplace around here? Like a spinning wheel that we can just you know what we need to do? Because I'm not liking the burden of having to choose and decide, because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make 4 people unhappy and 1 person happy. And I'd like to take that out of my hands. So I think what we need to do is we need to spin it on a wheel, and then the clicker has to come up. Does that work? Can we do that? Oh, you're going to find this on the internet?
Yeah. It's pretty easy.
Well,
picker wheel.
Victor wants to know, is that guy a Mexican? He has a commercial lawnmower. Hey, amigo, I need my lawn cut.
So Cole Smith, and then.
Okay, we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
This is good times. Can you
Jamie?
Just first names are good.
Yeah.
So, are you going to be able to show this on the screen? We don't know.
I can actually. No, I can.
Okay, because I don't want anybody to accuse me of cheating.
And Brian.
Because I have a reason for every single one of those to win and lose, if that makes sense.
I kind of have my winner in my head, but I like this idea a lot more.
Yeah, because they're all pretty even, and I mean everybody's trying to play us in certain ways. Other things are totally organic, but they don't deserve it. And then there's other ones that are. I mean, any one of them could win in my mind. I've added a secure browser. Is this thing going to hack into our internets and destroy our whole program? We'd never know.
Window capture.
And everybody,
I had the wrong thing. There it is.
This is how easy it is to be a producer. Within 3 minutes of me asking for something to happen on this show, it's happened, and this is live on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday right now.
Okay, are we
We're
ready?
gonna spin the wheel.
We're gonna spin. Who won?
This is the first time wow, that spins fast. There's no way that I could actually pick it. Okay, stop. It stops automatically.
By itself. Cole Smith.
Cole Smith is the winner.
Congratulations, you have won a $100 Taco Moto gift certificate.
Which one is Cole?
He was actually one of the better submissions.
Oh, good. Oh, it's the first one we did.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
he
that was the one we roosted.
Yeah, we roosted him.
I'm
Where
glad.
was he
The
at?
picker and me think alike.
Yep, there we go.
Completely randomized with no reason.
There you go. This is Cole's bike for those who might have forgotten.
And like most inanimate objects, it's not going to talk back to me, which is like that's why I like dealing with motorcycles and not people.
Yep. Yeah, so Cole, go ahead and reach out to me at matt@jimmylewisoffroad.com, and I'll get you instructions on how to get you set up with that $100 gift certificate.
Okay, and that's not flushing the toilet. That's because I just touched Travis Pastrana, who crashed in the background, which he always does on our show.
Also raced Hoosberg.
He kicked ass. He finished like 4th.
Oh, he actually finished. I didn't know he finished.
No, he finished. Yeah, he bet Jeremy $1 he'd beat him at Hoosberg, and he did. He actually did really, really good.
Wow.
I would have beat him, but he was a better rider than me at that time. Mm-hmm. At that point in our illustrious racing careers.
Does he even ride these days? Because I feel like he touches a dirt bike and he falls apart again.
Yeah, he just makes money. The guy is living life, driving rally cars, racing boats, all that kind of cool stuff.
Yeah.
So, if you want to know a little bit about Seat Concepts, the other one I wished had the Seat Concept seat. They've been since 2009 handmade seat products made in the USA. I saw them myself. They have seat styles available in a variety of colors, from low to tall heights, narrow to wide profiles. They have a proprietary foam formula that is adjusted for each customer based on riding style, weight, and firmness preferences. Designs are built for long-haul adventure riders or weekends at the track. Ride the world with Seat Concepts. But that's not to say that if you want to get a Seat Concept seat, you can get that at Takamoto.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Mike actually had a Seat Concept seat installed on his Takamoto bike at the KTM Adventure Rally.
Was that the one
saw
with,
it happen.
Was that the bike with the, what is it? It's like the old cup designs. It's like the blue and the squiggly lines.
I don't remember. I didn't pay that much attention. I just noticed that the seat didn't match, and all of a sudden the seat matched. And I watched, and Lyndon was over there with the staple gun, just
Nice.
banging it all together. So good times. Victor wants to know, what is the problem with Hondas? Well, Victor, yeah, there's no problem with Hondas. They're just not Yamahas. Yeah. Visit YamahaMotorsports.com today to explore what's new and improved for 2023. Just in case you were wondering.
Yeah.
That way you can find out what's right with the YZ 4-strokes. Do we have anything else, Matt?
No, I think we're all set.
I think we've wrapped this show up. Hey, Thank you, everybody, for listening in, joining in. Thanks for your submissions. We need some more Rooster Endo submissions, or we're doing okay?
No, please submit. You can either submit them on any of our Facebook posts, or you can email them to me directly at matt@jimmylewisoffroad.com with Rooster Endo submission in the subject line. And yeah, right now we're kind of on as we'll show them as we get them.
Yeah. So not a big waiting list like there was a couple weeks ago.
No. There used to be a massive waiting list, but we kind of burned through it. So now it's, if you have a bike that you think can win you $100 for Takamoto.
No, don't send it for that reason. Send it if you think it's going to entertain me. That's the only reason you need to send in the submission.
We did have a bike that won solely because it had beer cans shoved into it. Ricky and Andrew voted on that bike.
They said no, and I said yes.
No. Everyone was like, "Holy shit, that was really cool."
Now we're
because we didn't even notice it at first. We were just looking at the bike and like, "Oh, that's a cool bike." And
now we're gonna get 5 bikes with beer cans shoved into it.
No, we're just gonna get a bunch of XRs like we did this week.
Yeah. So the
Let me put that link in the chat one more time.
Yeah, OWE track in Idaho. They need your help. We talked about that in the middle of the show, but we have a link in our thing. But they have a raffle where they're giving away a Husky 501. That's super awesome. Mike has Mike. You know, I called another guy Kurt. I called him Steve or something. He's like, no, it's Kurt. And I'm like, I know, I just don't remember this. But I was saying, Matt has a lot of beginner bike videos up on dirtbiketest.com. Trevor's been sleeping at the wheel right now, probably getting ready for
24 hours.
Some racing, the 24 hours.
Well, actually, I wouldn't say he's been sleeping. He put up a Guts Racing seat test the other day.
I don't even see this stuff. That's wrong company. It doesn't even exist.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep. Check out JimmyLewisOffroad.com. If you want to get in one of our classes, we announced the dates last week in our newsletter. The classes are filling up quick. And if you need to know those dates, send me an email. It's pretty easy. My name at my website will get you there, and I can get you the information so you can get signed up. And other than that, I think that's all we have to list. Share this with a friend. Tell it. Actually, don't tell anybody. Just keep it your own secret, and then you can be smarter than everybody else. So for Matt Mattoon, for all of the kids that we fired off this show, for Mojave Bob, our lapdog of a in studio guest, thank you for all the advice, questions, bad advice, insults.
It was a fun show.
It was a fun show. We'll be back. Going to be back next week.
Okay.
I got some big events that I'm working on coming up. I might have to take a couple weeks off because I'll be out in the desert with 100 women. But
will you be?
Don't put that on my Grindr account.
Well, I won't. I'm not going to put in the morning wood comment yet earlier either.
Okay. So.
Oh, is next week going to be Zoom?
For the students of the class, or for the rally class?
That's.
Oh no.
Entirely,
Next week I'm going to be here in
Okay,
studio.
sweet.
Yeah. Why? Do you got a hot date next Tuesday night? Never.
No,
Okay.
never.
I shouldn't. Well, don't ride the KLR then, because the chicks will be chasing you. So with that, everybody, thanks for joining, and we will.